Before we jump into today's show, I just wanted to let you know that I have got a brand new 3-part audio series available to download right now. If you head over to donnaeade.com/3-part audio, that's all one word, no spaces, you can download your How to Build Your Authority with Podcasting audio series. This is going to address guesting and hosting. So if you're interested in either of those and you want to know how to build your authority, head over to donnaeade.com/3-part audio. The link will be in the show notes. You're listening to the Mindset and Action Podcast, the place to be to grow and streamline your business. I'm your host, Donna Eade. Let's jump into the show. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. I am so glad to have you here for another mini Mindset Monday. Viv is in the house. Welcome, Viv.
Hello, hello.
We are going to be talking today about something that I think is a really, really important topic, especially for business owners. So, Viv, the question of the day: how do we uncover what it is that we really want?
Oh, beautiful question. This is what we call a future-based question in coaching, but actually a lot of it is rooted in the past. I've got so many stories. We could be on here for hours, Donna, but got a client quite recently, I'm just going to use a recent one, literally last week, who thought that she wanted this massive house. She thought she wanted a £500,000 house. It was massive to her where she lives. She lives up north. So in London, it's a room, isn't it? But up north, that's like a 5-bedroom detached house. So she wanted this massive house, and she couldn't work out why she was inhibiting her own earnings. She couldn't work it out because we created a plan for how she could afford it, and she could. We worked out what she needed to do in her business, and she wasn't doing it. And when we went really into the depths of it, we worked out that she never really wanted this house, but her dad did. Her dad was the one that wanted the £500,000 house because he would make that mean. Remember what we said in the last episode about making things mean things, that he had made it. But for her, she doesn't really want that. In fact, what she wants is a camper van to travel around the world. Quite the opposite, if you imagine that, right? So quite the opposite. So, okay, hang on a minute then. Whoa, we're climbing the wrong ladder. So there's all sorts of books out there around this. You can find loads. But there was one particularly where there's a guy climbing up the ladder, and he gets to the top of the ladder. Everybody's trying to stop him. Why are you climbing the ladder? And he gets to the top. I've got to climb the ladder. And he gets to the top. He's like, oh, takes a look, and he's climbing the wrong ladder. And that happens such a lot. And it's happened to me. I'm on my 4th business in the last 20 years. Ask me why. So one of them, it was very market kind of representation at the time. One of them is because I made it. I got where I needed to go with it. I had a £250,000 turnover and was bored and lonely and on my own and hated every minute of it, and actually fell out of love with it as a product-based business. And then I set up a recruitment business and did exactly the same, and I got a whole team of people, and I actually wasn't even needed in the business. So actually the thing that brought me the joy in the business, I had kind of almost abdicated from. So it's really, really, this is the most important thing in business, is to work out what you really, really want. Otherwise, as you say, you're building a business for someone else, your mum, your dad, the person you wanted to say to that told you couldn't make it at school, university, college, wherever you went, jobs that have made you redundant, relationships that have told you you're shit and you're never going to amount to anything. So a lot of it, we've got a lot of revenge stuff. And in fact, my recruitment business was built from, I was made redundant from a company who I was setting up a recruitment division for. And I said, well, I'll go and do it for myself. And he said, go on then. So there I was. So my whole recruitment business was based on, I'll show you. Not good energy for a business. It's not. And it did last, and I did show them, absolutely showed them, but actually wasn't really what I wanted to do. So working out what you really want to do, absolutely pivotal. And working out who you want to be is my question for you right now. So not what you want to do and what you truly want, who you want to be. So I do lots and lots of future visualization on this, and you can do this really easily yourself. Call it the dream state. You'll call it that daydreaming. That's what most people call it. But just sit quietly with some nice music on, if you can do that. You might be the sort of person where things fly in your head. Just let them fly out the other side and just really dream of the future. Who you want to be, what kind of person, because it starts with identity. In NLP, we have something called neurological levels. If you Google that, you'll find lots of information about neurological levels. It's not mine, it's NLP. And it tells you about identity being at the core of everything we do. It's a triangle. And at the top of the triangle is identity. Underneath it, values and beliefs. Underneath it, skills and behaviors. environment and behave, like everything around it, which is why when I work up a deep structure, which is the identity of somebody. Because once you work out who you want to be, like Donna, if I was to say to you, do you want to be a multi-million-pound podcaster? That will bring up a thought and feeling for you. You try not to react to that. You'll either go, oh, I don't know if I want to do that.
That was my freeze face.
Or absolutely, that's where I'm aiming for. I can do that. Why couldn't I be Stephen Bartlett? Like, but actually what we believe in ourselves comes from who we want to actually be. So many people say, if I had to run, I did a thing on this recently myself, where I coached someone and she said, oh God, if I was earning £1 million, I'd be a bitch. She said, I'd be a rich bitch, but I'd be a bitch. I'd say, are you a bitch now? She's like, no. I'm like, what do you think is going to happen to you between then and now? Between that amount of they're just numbers. It's just currency. They're just people you've helped. Do you think it's going to make you worse if you help more people? She's like, oh shit, no. It's not going to make me worse. It's going to make me more charitable. It's going to make me more kind of anthropological. It's going to make me better as a person. So we've got all these ridiculous beliefs that sit around, why do we want to have money? The money is taught to us, back in the day, we've got to, have the pension, have the job, own the house. Thanks, Maggie Thatcher. Got to own the house. It's not true for a lot of people. And if we look at the younger generation, kind of the people that are coming in now from the 20s and 30s, that's not their goal. Their goal is to influence. That's why they've got jobs as influencers. They want to make money without having to work hard. Whereas our generation, well, you're a lot younger than me, but my generation is work hard, pay your taxes, get a pension, buy a house. What really drives you, you can work out. So a little exercise now, get yourself a pad and pen if you're listening to this. Hope you've got time. It is very short, by the way. And I just want you to ask yourself what you value and just give yourself a minute, put a timer on, maybe your phone or your watch or whatever you use. And in that minute, everything, a couple of words, not massive sentences. So you'll probably put things like, I don't know, my husband or my children, my dog, my job, my co-workers, my friends, my loyalty, my confidence. These are like the emotional feelings, the things inside you that you value and the things outside of you. Get all out onto paper and then reorganize it, because some of them will probably sit together. And then make sure that you've got a finite list and then prioritize them. Which one is at the top? And you'll find. So for example, my health should be number one. It's never even in the top 10. That's why I'm dieting. It's never going to be my focus. I'm never going to be a diet coach. It's never going to happen. I'm never going to be a health coach, right? I know it should be number one, because if I'm not healthy or I'm dead, I can't serve people. But actually, there is a whole load more. The things that are high in my list, being valued is really, really, and authentic is much higher on my list of things. So actually, when we work out what those top 3 are, and you can test it by saying, if I only had those 3 and not the rest, would I still be okay? Would I still be happy? Would I still feel joy? Would I still feel content? Because actually, if you do, you need to make sure whatever you're doing in your life hits at least one of those. But if you can hit all 3, that's where we have ultimate joy. Obviously, my business is She Enjoys. So if we can hit all 3 value sets, recognition is at the top of mine. Hence why I want to help people change the world, right? So when not just my clients say, oh my God, that's genius. You're amazing. You've changed my life. But I'm teaching people to do that for other people. So I get the compliments that come back and the testimonials from their clients. And I know that wouldn't have happened without me. So it's not even from outside of me. That feeling, that kind of recognition feeling is really high. So when I was in a recruitment business where I didn't get any of that, I was dead, literally emotionally dead. And so if you're feeling emotionally flatline, it means you're not hitting your core values. But when you hit all 3, which I do now, you'll do it for anything. Literally, it drives you. It doesn't matter how you feel. So if you're resistant to whatever's going on in your world, you haven't hit your core 3 values. And if you need any help, give me a shout. It's a very easy session to test it. Yeah.
Brilliant. I love that. And one thing that I sort of picked up when you were talking about that, doing that brain dump of what do you value, and you saying about the dieting, knowing that health is should be a value for most people in effect, and should probably be the top for most people. I thought about it and I was like, well, actually, that's another way. In a few weeks ago, we talked about this, working out what your blocks are. Is another way of finding out where you've got blocks. Because if you know that your health should be a priority, yet it doesn't even reach your top 10, there's probably a block around there somewhere that we need to work through, right? So good.
Or it's not valuable enough. So it might not even be a fear. It could be it's just not valuable, or we don't know how. Like if I thought that marathon running was going to give me recognition, that's how we start to in NLP. That's how we set the values with people, make sure they're on target, make sure you don't need accountability coaching. You need to get a higher value in your mind. So if I put those two things together, I'll probably do it. If I thought I was going to change lives by running a marathon, I would learn the skill. I haven't got a clue, honestly, wouldn't even know what to put on my feet. Not a clue. I would learn the skills. It would become more valuable. I would overcome that fear, the fear of not being able to run, because the skill would do that. So this is how we can align ourselves with our values. It's really, really important. My wife tells me off all the time because I should go for a walk, but I'm just going to do this thing at my desk, just going to answer this call, just going to do this thing. Why? Recognition and client service and changing the world so high on my value set. Me going for a walk and feeling calm, low down on my value set. So if I can move that up my value set, knowing I could serve better and be a better person, then I'm more likely to do it. So I spend a lot of my time trying to move it up. Like I've just signed up to a swim challenge to move that up the ladder. Now it's valuable. Now I'm raising money for diabetes, and my wife's a type 1 diabetic. You hear why I do that? So I want to start exercising. It's a 22-mile swim. I've got to do that now 3 times a week, and I'm not doing it. So I've had to get myself a motivation way of doing it. It's why we can sometimes lose weight for a holiday or a wedding, because we've got a motivation at the end of it.
Brilliant. Love that. Love that. Thank you so much. So what do you value? And there you are going to find what you truly want, guys. So love this episode. Thank you so much, Viv, for joining me. Thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to be subscribed so you don't miss any more of Viv's golden nuggets. And we will speak to you very soon. Bye for now. Don't forget to hit those stars and leave a review of the podcast where you listen if you found value in what you heard today. It's a free way you can help the podcast reach more people just like you.